Hello, welcome everybody to this eTwinning webinar offered by the European School Education Platform and eTwinning. Welcome to today's webinar that is entitled Mindfulness with Stream. As you know, all these webinars are recorded, so the recording of this session will be published on our official YouTube channels as of the next days, and also uploaded in the feature group of Mariana, who is with us today and who is a twinning moderator of the feature group on inclusive education. Today, we will explore the topic of well-being, and more specifically, we will discover how a mindfulness approach can be integrated with STEM education. And to do so, I have the pleasure to introduce you to our guest speaker of today, Anita Simac, who is a math teacher, scientists ambassadors, eTwinning ambassadors, and award-winning eTwinner in our community. I will not use too much time now, and I will let Mariana properly introduce our speakers, Anita, for today. I will just remind you that throughout all the session, you can use the chat if you have any questions or any thoughts that you would like to share, and we will be reading you. And if there's any time at the end of the session, I'm sure that Anita will be happy to address your questions. So now, without further ado, I will leave the floor to Mariana and then to Anita.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Alessia, for introducing our guest speaker, who you have already introduced, being a maths teacher, scientists ambassador, eTwinning ambassador, but the most important thing, also a very dear colleague, and I think I can say a friend of mine. Anita and I go quite a long back, and we have been collaborating as eTwinning ambassadors in Croatia. And we also have even a podcast which we can mention later on the eTwinning. They are both in Croatian and in English regarding the eTwinning community and the European community. So I'm very happy to say that that she's here with us. She will give us a nice insight because she really have been given several awards so far from the eTwinning community. So she has a lot of experience in doing eTwinning projects, but also being a math teacher and doing a mindfulness project, which is within this year of well-being. I think it is worth listening, because when we are talking about well-being and mindfulness and having the well-being webinar at the beginning of this year with a teacher from Spain who told us about what is well-being and how can we teachers help each other. Now having Anita in a way round it all up and see how we can do this with our students is even better. I'm happy to say that this is the 32nd webinar organized by our inclusive education feature group, which has started since 2015. And I'm very happy to greet you all here. By the end of this webinar, maybe I will add a link to the Microsoft Forms, but only for my group members. Of course, everybody is welcome to fill in. It will be open only for 10 minutes, and you can sign up your name and your email address, and I will issue a certificate within a month. It depends. Give me your time. But all in all, after that, I will lock it and you will not be able to say. So I hope you will stay by the end. Anita is a great speaker. She was raised in England, so I hope you will enjoy. Anita, thank you so much for coming. And from this lovely Zadar, I hope it's very sunny and warming. And I have taken a lot of your time, so please, the mic is yours. Thank you.
What an introduction. How can I better this? Thank you to Alessia and Mariana for organizing today's webinar. I'm really happy when I'm asked to share my time with my fellow colleagues, and as Mariana said, she and I have been friends for quite a few years now, and inclusivity, mindfulness, well-being, these are all topics that really interest me. And even though I am a mathematics teacher, these are very important topics that I try to integrate within my teaching. So I'm happy to be here with you. And as we kick off, I'd like to just thank you all for dedicating the next hour to spend it with us. If you have any questions, please write them down in the chat. Mariana and Alessia will definitely answer them if they can. If there is something specifically that you would like me to answer, then they can stop me, or I can answer at the very end. But I think we can kick off now. Here we go. Well-being in school was, of course, the eTwinning theme for this year, but it's shouldn't really be a theme for the year, I believe, and I'm sure you would agree with me. I think it's something that we all need to take into account and develop every day of every year. And together with colleagues of mine, I decided last year to embark on a project that would somehow connect the physical and emotional well-being, include mindfulness within the curriculum in the subjects that we all teach, and specifically mine because I am a mathematics teacher. But why do I believe that mindfulness is important? It's important not just for us, but for our students in this sense, because it helps develop people who are more self-aware, who can regulate their emotions and their focus, and really develop skills which are important for life. When we are present in the moment, not rushing as most of us are on a daily basis to and from work. Mariana said earlier on to me that she just come home from work and she has a parents' evening, and life and all the obligations that we have do tend to envelop us. And it's important to take a step back and take a breath and be within the moment and try and reduce the stress and anxiety that we feel. And of course, this is important for our students, for the children that we're teaching. We want them to become adults who are open to inclusivity, who are tolerant, empathetic, who are looking after themselves and each other within their local community, and respecting all the individuality that surrounds us and all the experiences that we incur. So it's very important to teach our students, and I would say even each other, to listen without any kind of judgment, if it's possible. Reflect on what we're feeling, what we're thinking, and just be more accepting of all the immense diversity, which I think is a really good thing, because by embracing all the differences around us, then that is how we truly better ourselves. And ultimately, we're creating an environment where there is lots of space for learning, lots of support, we all feel valued, and our students can enhance their social connections, be a part of the world in which they're living in, whether it's the classroom or their school, the local community. And all of this helps to make an individual who can enhance their academic success. So that's the introduction. I think that I really wanted to talk about why it's hugely important to prioritize the well-being for all of our children. When we have a balanced state of physical, mental, and emotional health, then we have a very good foundation, which helps them enhance not only their cognitive abilities and better focus and memorization, connecting the dots, but it gives them the resilience to navigate all the challenges that await them in life outside the classroom. It is, of course, the goal for our pupils to feel at ease in the classroom, to feel part of their community and safe, but ultimately that they won't always be in the classroom with us looking after them. We want to help equip them to navigate all the trials and tribulations of life. So with all of this in my mind, I really wanted to write and participate in a project that would link well-being to the subject I teach, which is mathematics. So with partners, colleagues, and ultimately all of these people became dear friends of mine from Greece, Spain, France, Slovakia, and Croatia. We embarked on this journey to delve much deeper into STEM, but with a mindfulness and well-being approach. Also, we wanted to devise activities for each of these science, technology, engineering, and mathematical topics. But then we decided to add the A for art, so the STEM would turn into STEAM. And of course, the reading aspect is very important. So get children to, if possible, fall in love with reading again. I don't know about you, but when I was a child, I would spend a lot of my pocket money on books. And even today, I find it very relaxing to disappear into a book or a story and use my imagination. I think that's what is often lacking in the lives of our students. So yeah, this was the goal, to add components of each of these stream activities, a multidisciplinary project, and develop and explore academic subjects while at the same time developing the social, emotional skills, self-confidence, and a balanced relationship with technology. We cannot move away from or hide from the technological advancement that is encroaching on every aspect of our daily lives. So we can't ignore this, but we can teach our children how to have a healthy and balanced relationship with technology. This is just a screenshot of how the twin space of the project looks. I would like to take you through some of the topics in more detail if we have time. I will be looking at my clock or my watch as we progress through the webinar so that I don't overstep the time that we have. But as I said, if there is enough time, then perhaps we can go to the twin space and I can take you through some of these activities in details. And the hope is to spark an interest or an idea as we're, talking about this, or as I'm talking about this, you're listening, but we can, of course, discuss this. If there's something you would like to say, please feel free to open your microphone and say something. But the idea, I think, of every webinar is hopefully that each individual comes away from the hour and says, oh, I can do that with my students, or that's given me an idea to do something better, hopefully, in my classroom. So that's the idea. But as is with every, I think, eTwinning project, there is a kind of system that we put together, from the actual plan to the project partners. How can we develop a good ice-breaking activity, introduce ourselves? And it was fairly similar in this project, but again, within every aspect, we tried to include well-being and mindfulness. So when we introduced ourselves, the idea was for the children to talk about positive aspects of their lives, what makes them happy, what helps them get away from the stressfulness in their lives, what areas of their lives kind of invoke a happy thought or a happy mindset. And then we thought we'd do the same with the cities, the schools and the cities that we live in. So where in our school do we feel the happiest? And that was also, I thought, a very interesting activity, because I thought all the children would say more or less the same with the playground, for example, or the physical education hall. But it was quite inspiring and touching to feel how they view my school, their school, through their eyes, and what makes us happy. And then again, it gave them all an opportunity to introduce the happy places, the calm places within their cities to each other. So these were the initial activities, and then of course the project logo, which is the 9th page, as you can see here on the screen. We had meetings, and we tried to get them to write as much as they were willing to in their free time in a journal. So what they learned as they progressed throughout the project. I'd also want to just quickly say that there's even a page on teacher well-being, because happy, relaxed teachers, if that is possible on a daily basis, this is also important as
Anita, I think we lost you for a second. Mariana, can you
Yes, no, I cannot,
see?
hear her.
Okay, I think
I
she has
think
a connection issue,
something
maybe.
is problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
but while we are waiting for Anita, I would like everybody, and you can write in chat. She will probably come very shortly. So if you have noticed these activities, I would like to ask the colleagues, the eTwinning project. Anita mentioned students, eTwinning well-being, but also she mentions the teachers. Now, what I have learned so far is that we always have to pay attention to the evaluation, not of our students, what do they think of our project and how do they feel to the project, but also us teachers. What do you think? Do your NSOs sometimes give you do they ask you, do they expect of you that to include this kind of evaluation? While you answer, I will try to see what is happening with Anita. So you
Indeed,
can
thanks.
write in chat, yes.
Thanks, Mariana. In the meanwhile, we are in contact with Anita to see if there's anything with the connection. That's the element of having live events. So apologies for the technical issue, but
Yes,
we'll be
yeah.
back soon.
She will probably, it will take time. I'm now
Yeah,
typing
absolutely.
to her, but she will probably come very shortly.
Yeah,
Yes, so as you can see, she was sharing the screen. I
yeah.
was listening to her webinar. I must say, I can share my camera. Yes, Mary Gazarian. Mary, where are you from, Mary? Best practice about well-being from around the world. This is a new project we started at university with teacher educators. They were very interested to learn new skills to apply. Amazing. From Lebanon. Nice to have you with us. Yes, I have seen Lebanon. That's perfect. This is what I want to say, because now you have noticed that, Anita told me the problems with the time organization, well-being. We are so connected. We are overworked sometimes. And even our students notice that, right? So I think that at some point we need to take a step back. So please share with us, what do you think? And Anita got a Comet Award. It is a Croatian National Award by the National Agency for this particular project, which is a huge also success. They've done so much. And sometimes while you are doing this project, and it's not too complicated, students were mainly drawing or thinking about themselves, of their work, of their progress, but then they like took a step back and they noticed maybe now it will be a chance for them to figure out in the future, what if we do
Hello.
so much? Yes, we are waiting for
Hello,
you.
Anita.
Yes,
We can
okay.
hear you. We cannot see you yet, but we can hear you.
Oh,
Okay, my camera is switched on. You still can't see me.
Yeah, now
yes,
we
we can
can
see
see
you
you
now.
well.
Okay, how long was I talking to myself for?
Not well. How long? I don't know. I have been
I
talking to
don't.
the audience. I have been,
Okay.
improvising here. But I must
Okay.
say, Anita, we have colleagues from Lebanon and Turkey with interesting projects. You might
Okay.
like to read in chat
Yeah,
later,
indeed.
like
Okay.
with the universities and Loud, the one with from Turkey, Stories to Heal. I like that
Okay.
as well.
Okay,
So, Anita,
I'm sorry. Thank you very
No
much to
worries.
no,
to
no, don't
Lydia.
problem.
Lydia in the chat, she sent me a panicked message and called me to say that
Yeah, I,
I
I actually
disappeared.
called you to Messenger, but I could not get to you through Messenger at all.
Okay,
Also, yeah,
No
okay.
worries,
okay. I
Anita.
do
Um,
apologize.
It
you
I
can
can.
happen, and no
apologize.
worries at all. And we in the meanwhile we were reading very interesting contributions from the chat, as Mariana was saying. So as you saw, there are very interesting best practices on well-being from the war. Maybe if
Okay.
there's time
I'm
at the end of the session, we can give a
yeah.
look, and I will let you
I'm
continue.
sorry.
No worries at all.
Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, I'm not sure. Did you hear this bit about the project activities and the twin space?
Yeah, we followed
Okay.
you until here, exactly.
Okay, cool. Okay. So I would just quickly quickly go through this part. Um the fact that our twin space looks probably in the very beginning much as everyone else's does, with a project plan and the project partners, introducing ourselves and so forth. But it's slightly different in the sense that we tried even at the very beginning of the project with ice-breaking activities and introductions to involve a well-being and mindfulness approach. So when we introduced ourselves, when I say we, I mean the teachers and the students, we introduced aspects of our life that makes us feel happy and stress-free, what makes us feel at peace, where we feel at ease, and so forth. And then we included this in presenting our schools through well-being and our cities. And that I thought was really interesting as well, because the way our students view their surroundings, of course, it is very different to how we view them. And each child, again, views the same space differently. So seeing the school and the city in which I live, which is a beautiful city. I think Mariana mentioned that the sun, and it is very warm today in Zadar, but just seeing it through their eyes was also very refreshing. Um, so that's all in the introduction section, and then also we asked the children to write journals from the very beginning of the project, just kind of documents their thoughts and feelings. They find this, I think, a little bit difficult to write and read in this day and age, express themselves. So we tried to get them to focus and be present in the moment and write down in their journals what it is that they're experiencing, what they would like to learn more about, maybe even what they'd like to share with each other. If you can have a look at point 12, there's a teacher well-being section as well, because as important as it is for each and every child to feel self-confident and healthy within mind and physically, it's also important for us, because if we are too stressed or not present in the moment, then of course our students feel this. And a certain section of the project was focused on teacher well-being. This was also very good in the sense that there were so many courses, webinars that we participated on the Teacher Academy and ESEP as well. So it was a great experience going through all of these with other colleagues. And then we come to page 19, which is starting all the well-being activities with every subject. So S is for science. Now, how and why do we even believe that involving or adding that kind of mindfulness or well-being aspects to science? Is it possible? Is it necessary? And how can it be done? Now, I believe that it should be done, and that it is very important, because when we foster a sense of connection and responsibility towards our community, the environment, and ultimately the world in which we live in, this is very important for each and every child to feel that they have that a sense of global citizenship. And this can be done through science, whether it's hands-on experiments or even taking young students outdoors to explore, get them involved in climate change issues, for example, which is another topic that I really am passionate about, and just try to get them to gain a deeper understanding of how we are interconnected with all the ecosystems, with the planet, and then it makes or it helps our children make informed choices. So I've written things like planting trees or observing local wildlife, and so on. But there are different experiments that you can do within the classroom on even on a rainy day, if you can't go outside. And this was one of the experiments that we did with our children in all our classrooms. So an oil spill simulation experiment. What is it that we can teach our children about oil spills? Well, you can do this in the classroom. It's a fairly easy experiment, but one that it's worth doing even with smaller students. How to clean up the ocean in your classroom. So these are some photographs of the experiments that were done in our schools and how the children perceived the actions that would be necessary for them to take if something like this happened. So even if the children are not fortunate enough to live by the sea as we are, we can still show them that something like an oil spill can have profound repercussions no matter where they live. So this hands-on activity taught them the importance of environmental sustainability, integrating mindfulness techniques such as observation and reflection within that particular moment and the experiment. As I mentioned earlier on, technology cannot be avoided. It surrounds us at every almost step of our lives. But having a healthy approach to technology can actually enhance our educational or our students' educational success. So if we encourage them to manage their screen time, how to gain access to educational content, they can improve their learning experience. So teaching responsible and ethical use of technology is very important for fostering digital literacy and preparing them for the challenges of an increasingly digital world. And all of us have a key role to play in this, not only educators, but parents and caregivers, the entire environments, local environments that we are a part of. So this positive and healthy approach to technology helps guide our students towards a balanced, positive relationship so that they can navigate this digital landscape responsibly. And within this project, there were several activities that we did with our children, whether it was an online usage survey. So towards the beginning of the project, we asked them to participate in this survey, and then we compared their results at the end just to see how much their online how much time online they spent at the beginning of the project and towards the end. And tracking this online usage was a good indicator for them to become aware of how much they actually spend on the internet. A lot of the time, I don't think they're even aware of the amount of time they are on their phones or on the internet, and how much time they spend playing games and immersed in this digital world. Over a week in February, they monitored their the time they spent and the content they viewed online, and then we used all of that data in the very last activity with mathematics, because they then documented and graphed their online usage. So throughout the entire project, a lot of these activities were interwoven, very deeply connected, which again is, I think, a very practical way of showing the children that all of the subjects that we teach are connected. So how did we connect technology with activities within the classroom? Well, we built these well-being cubes of possibility. In their transnational groups, we had 10 of them. The children in Canva decorated a cube net. When I say decorated, they wrote down inspirational quotes, drawings, maybe even, I don't know, the younger children, some kind of emojis, symbols of happiness or affirmations, and something that kind of brings them joy. And then in a meeting together, they decided within their transnational groups what they would put on their group cube. So we had 10 of these cubes in Canva, which then they printed, and in each of our classrooms we actually made these cubes. So we all had these cubes in each of our partner countries, and as I said, each side of the cube was decorated with a message that the team had decided together during a meeting. So that's the science and technology. Then the R is for reading. Now, I mentioned earlier how important I believe reading is for every one of us, whether adult or child. And I think that it can offer many benefits, whether it's improvement of mood, stress reduction, relaxation, depending of course on the story or that you read, or the poem, or whatever work it is that you're reading. It can increase your empathy and understanding. And reading has been shown to improve cognitive ability, of course, stress reduction, mood regulation, all of these that are listed on this slide. But how did we do this in our project? We actually did a few activities. We celebrated the Day of European Authors, and we did an activity connected to blackout art poetry. Now, in this celebration of European authors, the students combined creativity with literacy. They presented an author from their country and chose a specific work of theirs that meant something to them. And then we translated it into our mother tongue and just learnt more about the cultures and works of literature from where we come from. It was interesting actually to see what authors the children chose. They weren't necessarily the typical children's authors that I would have thought of, but it was just great to see them really focused and wanting to share their culture and inserts from certain stories. The blackout art poetry was a great exercise. We each presented a poem that means something to a national poem that means something to us, and then we translated it into English, and with partner countries, we then proceeded to get them to black out, as is the case with blackout art, certain bits of text and make something new. So there was, again, presenting poetry that is of importance to the children, then creating something new that's artistic, and every child can do this. So just blacking out certain bits of the text and creating something new. So that was the R for reading. With the engineering, this was a difficult topic. That the children had very different ideas of what they wanted to do for the engineering, but again, because a lot of the children were of a younger age, my students were 5th and 6th graders, but they were the minority because we worked a lot with students who were in the primary school age, and they came up with the fortune tellers that we all know how to do. The paper creations, engineering them, and then deciding together on advice that the fortune teller would give to their peers, what would make them happy at school, at home, outdoors, or in their free time. So these creations help the pupils translate kind of abstract well-being concepts into something that is that was very tangible and practical. A for art. Art is something I think that can be interwoven into every subject and is very important. And I try to include art in at least one major project that I do every year. Art definitely has a very profound, I think, influence on our well-being. And when children say they are not creative, I always find it a little bit sad that they perceive themselves not to be creative, because I truly believe each one of us is. It's just trying to find which kind of art form can we express ourselves in. So nature is always a great inspiration for engaging ourselves with art, whether it's just observing nature or being in the moment with our surroundings, wherever there's, you know, a tree, a bit of grass by the sea somewhere, that's, if you're lucky enough, you can feel nature all around you. So we took our children out to the park near our schools, near our respective schools, and just asked them to spend half an hour contemplating. This was very difficult. They initially thought this was going to be easy, and then they went through the phase of not being really able to sit still. But at the end, they managed to just let go and relax. And I asked them at the end of the half an hour to write down what it is that they saw when they closed their eyes. What did they hear? What did they smell? How did they experience that half an hour? And then we discussed this among ourselves. And even though all the students were in the same place at the same time, they all saw something or smelt something or heard something very different. And then we asked them to create some kind of work of art. Creating art, I believe, allows all of us to express our thoughts, emotions, experience in ways that often words just cannot. And this process of self-expression can be a powerful tool for self-discovery and personal growth. It's a way to explore your identity, and then engaging in this way with nature and art at the same time. It can improve your focus, improve your memory, and it kind of keeps your mind sharp as well. So this creative process was part of an activity that the children truly enjoyed. It would have actually been great if we'd had the opportunity to repeat the process at a different time of the year. Maybe if we'd have time to do the same exercise in autumn, winter, and in the spring, in a spring month, just to see what difference that makes. So maybe that's something that we can do in another project. Finally, in all of the STEM or STEAM or stream activities, it's the M for mathematics that ends this this circle of activities. How to connect well-being with mathematics. As I mentioned previously, we spent certain amount of time on documenting and discussing our time spent online, and how much stress that creates when we are offline or online, what certain content we are viewing and so forth. And this week on the web of monitoring usage during 1 week was a way to include mathematics as well. I know mathematics is not just statistics, but when they visualize a graph or some kind of pie chart representing the chunk of time that they spend online, it really brings it home to them that they should be spending perhaps more of their free time doing something else. So combining various well-being initiatives with mathematics, stress relief, being in the moment, concentration, focus, all of this can help nurture students' overall development. And that's why we found it really important to combine mindfulness, mathematics, and digital well-being. So this is just a few photographs of the charts and table that we participated in, that the classes participated in during this activity. So as you can see on the left-hand corner on the table, they documented the hours spent on social media, general surfing, gaming, and just total hours spent on the internet. We didn't go into a huge amount of detail, but it was a very focused activity of a whole week, producing these statistics within each of our schools and then comparing, are there any differences, what the differences are, why are there differences, is it related perhaps to the age of the students, do they have different interests when or as they get older. And I think this, again, towards the end of the project, when perhaps the students were maybe itching to finalize the year and get ready for summer and so forth, this was an activity that's helped motivate them and got them to focus towards the end of the project. So I just having a look at the time. I'm wondering if perhaps there are any questions that I can answer or for, yes?
For the moment, no, there are no questions. We are
Uh-huh.
following attentively. Well, I would say you have about 10 minutes more or
Okay.
less if you want to explain more. And as you have mentioned, want to show the twin space, I think
Yeah.
that many of the participants might be benefiting from that as well. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I might do that as well. So I will come back to the end of the presentation. But when my computer kind of went dead or my screen froze earlier on, yet my twin space is still open. So, okay, I'm hoping that you can see my screen and that this twin space is visible to all of you. So the space is open for all registered SEP users. You can go in and have a look at the project, even though it's not live anymore. We're not adding any more content to it. It should be open as a repository of resources for you to maybe
Anita, maybe you
yes.
can share the link, the public link, maybe
Yeah,
later in the
okay.
chat.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. The project is well-being through stream, so I can share the link, but maybe you can also have a look
I will check.
by the title, but I can also do that, of course, Mariana. So there are so many resources and materials here. As I said, there's a whole section on where minding ourselves, why digital well-being is important, what we wanted to be joyous in January at the beginning of 2024, the various activities that we did, then kind of reflecting on the past year. Okay, so wishing everyone well for Christmas, but looking forward, having reflected on the past year, what are we looking forward to doing differently in the new year? I didn't really mention the physical well-being, as it's not strictly part of the stream set of subjects, but I would emphasize how important the physical well-being aspect is as well to each and every one of us. I believe so. There were lots of activities proposed from each of the schools, whether it was a presentation form or a video form or photographs, things that we did together. Perhaps you can have a look at that if that's something that maybe you would like an idea on. We had a well-being bingo game as well that we played. So we all came up with bingo cards. Sorry, we all came up with bingo cards of things that would help us feel better, and then we played bingo in our classrooms. So each of the schools came up with a task for the game itself. Something that I will definitely mention that we enjoyed doing were gardeners' multiple intelligences. I'm not sure how much of these intelligences you have had a chance to review or maybe research, but I would definitely recommend Gardner's set of intelligences, which show us that even though we may not have the same cognitive capabilities for some intelligences, such as mathematical, there are so many others, from languages to physical to the arts to music. And that was something that we also did together, the multiple intelligences worksheets, finding out where our strengths lie. And this was also important for the children to feel a sense of accomplishment, that maybe their intelligence is at peak in some aspects, which are outside of school, such as the physical or sports intelligence. So it was just trying to get our children to bolster their sense of self-esteem, and again this inclusivity that we were really trying to emphasize throughout the whole project. I also talked about the teacher well-being, so there's some resources that you can find there, and then within each of these stream sets of activities on these pages you can find the videos for the oil spill experiment, how we did the blackout art. There's presentations on if you would like to do something very similar with your children, how to proceed with that, explain to them what blackout art is, who the founder is, and so forth. So all of this is on the TwinSpace. It's available for all of you to have a look at if you get the time, and if you so wish, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, of course, you can maybe get in touch with me, and I'd be more than happy to send you a message or share some resources if you can't find them on the website themselves. Okay, so I'll just go back to the presentation, and then I think we're on the final few slides, and then if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. So as I think you've gathered throughout this presentation, I truly believe that the integration of wellbeing and mindfulness into education is a topic, or are topics, that transcend subjects and age groups. No matter what subject you teach, what age group of children you are teaching, it's very important, and you can make a meaningful impact across all areas of learning for both yourself, your colleagues, and your students. I'm very proud to say that about a week and a half ago, the project was awarded the Comet Award in Croatia. So when Mariana asked me to present this project and this topic to you at the time, I didn't know. I did think it was a really great, enjoyable project for many aspects, but I didn't at the time know, or didn't even have a fathom of an idea that it would receive an award. So I'm very, very happy and proud that its success has been recognized within the national agency in Croatia. But I think the project has left a lasting impression on all of us, on the couple of hundred of students that were involved, and all the teachers that were involved. It reminds us really that rewards and awards are very great. They're great, but the outcome of the project, I truly believe, will kind of transcend that and last for a much longer time, because what we've tried to cultivate in all our students is the building of self-confidence and empathy, an emotional balance, inclusivity, the mindfulness and well-being, both physical and emotional, with all of our students. And if I've managed to convey that to you at least slightly, I'd be very happy, because I think that's the goal of all of us. What we're trying to achieve is not just influence and change in a positive sense the lives of our students within the classroom, but beyond as well. So I'd like to thank you for persevering with me throughout this hour, and for still waiting for me after my screen froze, for being with me. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, you can contact me on my email.
Yes, I have shared your email in chat. First of
Thank
all,
you.
thank you so much. This is called resilience, perseverance, whatever you want, and with the well-being, you never give up.
Yeah.
The only mistake that you made, you did not invite me to the project, because I need a lot of well-being,
You
unfortunately. Yeah, but I will go to the
next time.
materials.
Next
I
time.
must say that I have. Well, thank you so much. I must say I
You're
listened
welcome.
about your presentation of the project in for the Croatian national, the eTwinners of Croatia, and I was like, no, this is so good because you have been implementing so many activities, and for all of us here, we know that the eTwinning you can recycle the ideas. It doesn't matter on the, for instance, the activity, right, of the theme of the year. If the project works and if you like it, you can always reuse and maybe adapt a little bit of Anita's
Yes.
and her colleagues and her students. Ideas, right? We all need this. It's like it's never-ending story with the well-being. I haven't noticed anything in chat, so Alessia, maybe you would like to ask something our presenter, and everybody's saying thank you, and we have shared the link, and everything will
Thank
be
you.
in the inclusive education group, the slides, the link, the
Indeed,
screenshots.
you were saying about recycling. It's not only a sense of recycling, but I think if this project was done with another group of students, you'd have different results. Or every year, if I was to repeat certain aspects of the project, it would be a different project in a lot of senses because the children are different. So this is what makes a project ultimately sustainable. I would use that word. When a project comes to an end, does it really come to an end? Does it continue to stay with us? And even though the new theme for eTwinning is no longer well-being in the classroom, this is not a yearly theme. As I said, this is something that we should all live by, whether it's in school or in our personal lives. Sorry, Alessia, I interrupted you. You were going to ask me something.
Not at all. And I think these final words summarize what I wanted to ask you because since we have just a few minutes, I wanted to ask you like what are the main tips or takeaways that our attendees, even some keywords they can bring home today. But I think you mentioned them all very clearly. We talked about resilience, we talked about sustainability. I don't know if you want to add any of these key words that could be important for our attendees after the webinar of today.
I
But
think
I
I think
think
just
those,
listening. Yeah, I think just listening
yeah,
to our ourselves, as funny as that sounds, but I think we need the time sometimes just to be still and listen to what we need and listen to each other and of course the children. So whenever you're doing a project, whatever project it is, however long it lasts, it's always about the collaboration in the sense getting feedback continuously. And that's why a good project is one that is ever changing within the time frame that you've set to yourself.
Yes,
So you're always trying to slightly reflect, connect, get feedback, change according to what the children want. I don't know, but I wanted to say
yes,
if
yes.
someone has the opportunity or didn't get a chance maybe to join us from the beginning, I've written a lot about the project on this on the Medium blog, so they can maybe go there and read that and get in touch with me. But thank you
yeah.
both for having me here today.
No, it was amazing, and I'm sure that the project can continue, or you can do an updated version, or maybe have somebody here who might join you. And we have some colleagues here in chat from Lebanon and Turkey doing something similar. Maybe some of you got ideas. Sometimes I would read your ideas, and then I will get an idea how I would do it with the language or human science
Yes,
subject. So
yes,
and it doesn't matter, you are a maths teacher, but I'm sure you had other colleagues from different subjects in the project.
yes.
And what you said about giving students emotional balance, I liked it so much. And and the project can be done with the primary and secondary. It doesn't matter, it depends. And you can only have like 3 activities. Not you had a lot of activities, but maybe just few activities,
Yes.
something that fits into your curriculum.
Exactly.
And this is very important to mention. It has to fit somehow into the curriculum, because then you will invest less time, but then again everybody
Of course.
benefits. So it is difficult, but yeah, I think that eTwinning brings us so much for so many years so far, and we can always learn from each other. And when the other day, last week, somebody asked me about who is my inspiration. Well, the teachers, of course. And we always, we are very flexible, and we adapt, right, quite fast. So yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And thank you everybody here. I will lock soon the Google Forms, but don't worry, you will get your certificates. Everything will be inclusive education group, and I will send the update email. Alessia, I will
Thank
let
you
you
very much,
finish.
Mariana.
Anita,
No, thank you. Thank you
thanks
for
so
the
much.
important information. Again, I thank Anita for sharing your knowledge, your time, and your insights with us. And I thank Mariana for having organized such a nice expert talk. And I remind our attendees that the recording will be available in the feature group of inclusive education as of the next days. And you will be able to catch up and share with the twinners what you learned today. Thank again, and I wish you all a nice evening.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Take care of each other and yourselves.
Ciao.
Look.